don't know what Jan has planned here, so.
I have nothing planned.
Okay.
We just said everybody come for ice cream, and Mark will show up.
And I'm here. My name is Mark Meuser, and I am riding for Secretary of State. I'm not running, I'm riding. And I thought I'd start off with the bike tour, why we're doing the bike tour. The reason why we're doing this bike tour is because it's the month of July and the month of August. And if you're a Republican running for office, the media does not want to give you any kind of coverage. But if you want to win and get your name recognition out, you need to have name recognition. So we decided that we were going to do a bike tour. And that requires the media, because we're doing something different, they see a story there that they want to cover. So the better question is, we'll go to all 58 counties. You know, Alpine County has less people in the entire county than LA could have in an entire block. And the answer to that question is, I'm a lover of history. I have over 200 books that are over 100 years old about American statesmen and politicians from the 1700s, the 1800s, early 1900s. And one of the things that used to happen in this country is if you ran for office, you went to every county seat, you went to every city square, and you made your case as to why you were running and why they needed to vote for you. And so what I decided to do when I was recruited to run for Secretary of State is I decided that I needed to go to all 58 counties. And now since October, when I joined this campaign, I have been to all 58 counties. Now, part of this bike tour, I have been to 50 of the 58 counties. We are on the last couple days of this tour. I'm going to be leaving here, going to Santa Cruz tonight. Tomorrow I'm in Hollister and in Monterey. Then I'm down in SLO, Santa Barbara, Ventura. Sunday I'm in LA County again. Monday I'm in Riverside and San Bernardino County again. And then I do cover San Diego. And I end in Orange County. We're getting the word out one step at a time. You know, just yesterday, or not yesterday, on Sunday, I was in 4 different newspapers in this state talking about this tour. That's called earned media. I'm earning every bit of it. The thing is, the question becomes, can a Republican win in the state of California?
Yes.
And the answer is yes. 45% of California Democrats do not like the direction that the state is going. You got 45% of California Democrats feel disenfranchised, even though they are the party in power. We saw that the Chamber of Commerce did a survey on the governor's race. Back in 2016, they said if the election for governor were held today, who would win? And the answer was the Democrats would win by about 11.5 points. They did the survey again in 2017, late 2017, and it was within 3 points. Things are much closer here in the state of California than the media wants to give credit. The thing is, we actually have a secret weapon in 2018. It's called the repeal of the gas tax.
You got it.
With the repeal of the gas tax, that is going to fundamentally change the matrix of who is coming out to vote. Let me give you an idea. Josh Newman, we recalled him down in Orange County, LA, San Bernardino. In 2016, in Senate District 29, the combined Democrat vote was 56 points. The combined Democrat vote in June of 2018 was 40 points. That means that district, one district, swung 16 points. And understand, a lot of that district was Los Angeles County. Okay? Stop and You know, that's where this thing is most popular. You imagine what's going to be happening all up and down the state? You know, one of the leading, Rhodey here is going to come talk in a few minutes. He's really close on the yes on 6. But over 75% of lazy Republicans, those who tend to only vote in presidential election years, say that they're going to come out and vote for the repeal of the gas tax. You know, 4 years ago, Pete Peterson almost won this race. He was outspent 7-1. Many people say he would have won, but for the margin of fraud in Los Angeles County. Can you imagine what would happen if you had an extra 1.5 million Republican voters coming out to vote, and you don't see the same extra turnout by the Democrats? That is a landslide up and down the state. It is going to fundamentally change assembly races, Senate races, congressional races, all up and down this state. That is why that Prop 6 is so important. It is part of our pathway to success. You know, I, as Secretary of State, don't have much to do with that, but it is important for everyone here that you make sure that you spend time with your county headquarters, to make sure that you're making phone calls for the yes on 6. Make sure that you're going and knocking door to doors, because every one of those Republicans that you turn out to vote who only vote in presidential election years, every one that you turn out to vote is going to fundamentally change this state in 2018. That is a game changer. Now, let's talk for a second about the Secretary of State's race and why I'm running, who I am, and all that. The Secretary of State is the chief election officer of the state of California. That means you're responsible for fair and honest elections in the state. How good are our elections, or how bad are our elections? Well, let's start off with this. According to the Pew Research Center, the state of California has the second worst elections in the United States of America. Second worst elections in the United States of America. But hey, good news is we're in the United States of America. We teach the world how to vote. We're the shining example of representative democracies, right? Well, according to Harvard University, on the issue of election integrity, when measured against the 28 Western democracies, the Western world, the United States of America is ranked 28 out of 28 countries on election integrity. So we are the second worst state in the worst country in the Western world. That's not leading. That's not even a caboose.
That's right. Yeah.
That is a problem. So what can I do about it? Well, as the Secretary of State, the chief election officer of the state, number one, we can start by cleaning up our voter rolls, because the foundation of every election starts with your voter rolls. We have over 11 counties with over 100% voter registration, meaning there are more people on the voter rolls than are eligible to vote. Los Angeles County has 144% voter registration. San Diego has 138% voter registration. Well, how do you fix it? The answer is actually very easy. The current Secretary of State knows how to fix it, because in a Supreme Court brief they wrote that there are 11 government databases that the Secretary of State can use to clean up the voter rolls. But the Secretary of State is only using 3 of them. He's not even using the Social Security death records to make sure that our voter rolls are clean of those people who have passed away. What else can we do? Well, we can communicate better with other government entities. You know, the government entities like the jury service poll. Jury services gets data from the voter registration. So there's communication going from voter registration to jury service. Yet 20% of the notices that go out from the jury service polls are returned because the person is dead. They've moved. they're not a citizen, or it's undeliverable as addressed. Could you imagine what would happen if that data was then sent back to the Secretary of State and they cleaned the voter rolls? That's what you need to do. You need to communicate with the government, because when you have data about those who are eligible to vote, you know, I hate to break it to you, but if you die, you're no longer eligible to vote in the state of California.
In Illinois, my home state, you can, and you vote more than once, too.
Oh, yeah. But, you know, the thing is, we just need to do our job as Secretary of State, because the Secretary of State is required to clean the voter rolls and make sure that only those people who are eligible to vote are on the voter rolls. What else can we do? Well, how many people here heard the news last week where an 11-year-old hacked a county's election website and changed the vote in under 10 minutes? We got a problem with integrity in our election process. You may have heard about a month ago, one of the leading vote counting machine manufacturers said that they created a backdoor, Wi-Fi enabled means for them to hack an election. They have created the vulnerabilities, and now they wonder why people are concerned about the accuracy of a vote. The thing is, the current Secretary of State is ordering less audits. His office is doing fewer investigations. They are not allowing outside groups to come in and audit our elections to make sure. It doesn't matter if you're on the right or on the left. They are not allowing outside audits. Now, you may have remembered in 2016, right after the election, Jill Stein raised millions of dollars and was able to pay for a recount in Michigan and Wisconsin.
Yes.
I was one of the first attorneys that was flown out there to do that recount. And while we did not find any evidence that a single machine had been hacked or had given an incorrect total, we did find plenty of evidence of other problems. And so that audit went to the Michigan legislature. And all of a sudden, the Michigan legislature had to change some laws to make sure that their laws were fair and honest. We need to make sure that there are sufficient audits from outside groups, inside groups, so that way the integrity of our election process can stand up to those individuals who want to use their special influence to manipulate elections. So, as I say, we have an opportunity to win as Republicans in 2018. But we got to get our message out. And there's 3 ways you get your message out. Earned media, and I'm earning it. Social media, and there's many people here who are sharing content on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. And I thank you for what you're doing there, because you're helping us build name recognition, helping us get our message out. But then there's also paid media. And unfortunately, I'm not a multi-billionaire who just can self-fund this campaign. Instead, this is a campaign being funded by thousands of Californians across this state, making contributions as they can. Some people are able to do the $7,300, and I thank them. But I've had widow women who have gone and sold a possession just to give a couple dollars. Every little bit helps. You know, we live in a big state. There's a lot of voters. There's a lot of people that we got to get our message out to. And that's why, if you can make a contribution, we really appreciate it if you make that contribution today. Now, normally, what I do is I bring up Rhodey and allow him to speak. But unfortunately, because of this fundraiser that I got to be at Santa Cruz, it's going to take me a few hours. I'm going to go ahead and take a few questions. Then I'm going to invite him up, and I'm going to go on my bike and I'm going to ride out of town, because I got to get up over that hill into Santa Cruz, because that event starts at 7 o'clock tonight. And since Rhodey's in the RV, he can stick around here a lot longer. So I talked to you first. I'm going to let him share his stuff later, but I'm going to take a couple questions here real quick. before I head off. So go ahead, right here.
Any help from Congress about voter integrity?
Any help from Congress on voter integrity? The thing is, the elections are a state responsibility. The Department of Justice is allowed to get involved. I've heard rumors that they are considering it. Whether they do or not, we do not know. LA seems to have enough problems. They may come and sit on it. They may not. But that's not going to be a Congress decision. That is going to be a decision that is being made by the president and Jeff Sessions. I know I have plenty of friends who are looking, who are contacting them, giving them information, and whether they do or not, I don't know. Here's the deal. We know that there's a problem in the state of California with the integrity of our elections.
Absolutely.
But there's still more liberty-loving Californians than there are who want a tyrannical form of government. And if we simply get out and vote, if we simply do our job and get out and vote, we will swamp bomb, and they can't do enough fraud to steal an election. So rather than looking at Congress, rather than looking at the Justice Department and saying, what are you going to do for us?
Let's look in the mirror.
What we have to do is we have to take advantage of the tools that we have, the repeal of the gas tax, and we got to get out there and get our people to the polls. Whether it's the evangelicals, whether it's the gun owners, whether it's the off-road people, whether it's the Chinese community, whether it's the Hispanic community. I don't care what social group, what ethnic group. There are too many Californians who think that their vote doesn't count. And because they think their vote doesn't count, they don't vote. We need to get those people to the polls this November. And if we do our job of getting them to the polls, then you do not have to worry about those people with special interests who have ulterior motives, who do not necessarily care about your liberties and your freedom. So Mary had the next question, then you. So, oh, you want her first? Okay, go ahead. Is Vanessa? Okay. That is going to be a controller question, which is Constantinos Roditis, and he'll answer that question during his thing. Mary?
What are your qualifications for this job?
I am actually an election law attorney. I'm a constitutional election law attorney. We don't know this for sure. We've looked back for quite a few years. I may be one of the first people to run for Secretary of State who has actually been an election law attorney. So someone who actually has had to litigate election issues, who's actually done recounts, has been in polling places and watched and observed recounts or original counting. There may have been somebody in the past, but most of the time Secretary of State seemed to be somebody from the legislature who's trying to step up and hold a seat warm until they can get something better. I'm here because I'm an election law attorney. That's why they wanted me. That's why I got recruited. It's because I could articulate the issues of election fraud, hopefully without sounding like I was wearing a tinfoiled hat. Yes, sir.
Besides voter integrity, what are your other priorities?
As Secretary of State, other duties of the Secretary of State include business registration, and we have not seen an update in the business registration process since Bill Jones has been Secretary of State, and our websites definitely show it's that they are 20 years old. We definitely need to update. I mean, right now it takes about 3 weeks to register a business in the state of California. Nevada takes 10 minutes. So we need to automate our system there. I'm also I'm the protector of the state seal. So I can give you a great speech for the next hour about being the protector of the state seal. I'd say that my message is actually good for all Californians. It's a big state, and there are a lot of liberty-loving people who do not feel like they're represented right now. Whether that has to do with my topics of election integrity, to an extent it does, to an extent it doesn't. But, there are farmers who feel like, Sacramento politicians are dictating how to run their lives, and they don't have any idea what their life is about. Or, lumberjacks up in the north, or miners You know, there's so many people in this state who just feel like, you know, the legislature has no idea what it's, you know, what's going on in this state. Because I could find people who are dissatisfied with Sacramento anywhere in this state.
That's true.
Right here.
And regardless of party. Regardless of party.
Definitely.
You know, right now 45% of California Democrats don't like the direction the state is going. That's a lot of Democrats who are dissatisfied.
And how did you get interested in politics?
I was about 15 years old. Mom came home. You know, your friend's father is running for office. Here's a bunch of flyers. Go
Go to the
go put them door to door. I do appreciate your support. I do appreciate, because I can't do this alone. I mean, I couldn't do this without Jan helping organize this event, and everybody who invited somebody out here. There you are, Jan. Sorry. Everybody who invited people out here, we really do appreciate what you are doing, because I can't do that. I can ride a bike though, and I'm going to ride the bike and keep building. Lowest day was about 35 miles, and I think the longest day was 150.
Wow. And when was that, the 151?
That
From
was
where
like
to
2
where?
days before I did Death Valley. I got some bike riding to do, so see you later.